Welcome back to the show. We're now joined by senior Joe Turek and sophomore Alex Khoury. Guys, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
No problem.
So, Joe, let's start with you. What was it like saying goodbye to this team, after the loss to the Vikings on Sunday?
It was a lot. We were saying all year that we've really close this year. Closer, probably the closest team I've had since I've been here all 4 years. So it was really rough. They were really nice to us all day long, doing the things we told them to do. But other than that, I mean, absolutely, it was rough.
After making the CCIW tournament the past 2 seasons, what was the biggest factor in the Cardinals not making the return trip this year?
It was just production. Run production just wasn't there for us this year. I think, like you said earlier, we were in first place with 3 weeks left, and then we just one-run games, just didn't score enough runs. Pitching was there, but run production just wasn't.
Alex, what has this group of seniors meant to this team, and what's their impact going to be for the years to come?
It was big. They definitely taught us a lot. They're good leaders, and I think some of the younger guys, the juniors, going to be seniors. I think they could definitely fill the shoes and hopefully be some good leaders for us.
And being one of the younger guys, how hungry is this team next year to try and get back to the top of the conference?
We're really hungry. We obviously didn't end the year the way we would have wanted it, so that'll definitely motivate us to work hard in the offseason and have a good season next year.
Coach, what do you think is the biggest factor for this team, making that return trip to the CCIW tournament next year?
I think it's just understanding the flaws of this year's season. I mean, obviously offensively we didn't get it done this year. And I think, not to beat a dead horse, but we need to get better offensively. I think all of our guys understand that. They'll learn from this year and hopefully, take care of business next year.
One of the offensive staples of this team the past few years was you, Joe, in the batter's box. You're going to be ending as probably one of the greatest hitters in North Central history. What's that feeling like, and has it even hit you yet when you look at the record board, knowing that you're up there in some of these?
Yeah, no, it hasn't yet. I mean, after the game Sunday, it was kind of like a off feeling of not going to be around anymore. And maybe later on in life, the numbers will be cool to look at later on, but right now it's just kind of, it's over, and still dwelling kind of on this season, how disappointing end to it.
But, even though it was a disappointing end, a lot of this, team is returning next year. What do you think this young squad needs to do, to get back in stride and back to the form they were the past couple of years?
Yeah, like we've been saying, a lot of experience for a lot of young guys this year. It's just run production. They got a lot of good at-bats against college pitching. I'm sure some of them probably haven't seen that kind of pitching before. So they should be in good shape.
Well, the Cardinals may not have made it to the postseason in this year's campaign, but have a solid core returning in 2013. We take a look at what this group needs to do to get the Cardinals back on top of the conference in this week's What's the Word?
They're going to be there. There's a lot of young guys, a lot of talented guys on this team. Just with the time that they'll get, they'll be coming out hitting, swinging, they'll be pitching great. So I expect big things from them in the future, too.
I think it has a very good shot. This year we had a lot of good pitching, which we've been missing, which wasn't our strong point in the last few years, but I think it's only going to get better. I think we have a good few recruits coming in, and they won't really miss us a lot, but, skill-wise.
And I think just playing the game and having fun, to tell you the truth. During the summer, just really pushing and getting your at-bats in, getting your throws in, and just really working hard so that next year we come back really strong and we make that tournament and hopefully get to the national championship and win it.
There's definitely a lot of talent on this team. We're really deep in the positions, and I just think they need to be mentally tough. And if they get that down and expect to win, then they can do great things that we never could.
So, Alex, being one of those young guys, what do you think the biggest improvement this team will need to make, in order to get back to the top of the conference?
Like we've been saying all along, it's execution. We had a lot of opportunities and just couldn't produce the runs that we needed to. And hopefully we'll work on that and improve that for next year.
Knowing that you guys were in every single CCIW game, and almost every game there was about 13 to 14 games where it was a one-run loss. What does that do to this team's confidence, and how does that sort of help you guys build it in the years to come?
I mean, it hurt, but I think it's definitely a learning experience. Like being in games, and even if we don't come out on top, that'll help us in the future. Coach,
what do you think is what do you think that some of these young guys have done well this year that they can carry into next season?
Well, we started, especially with a lot of our young guys, I think something that you look around and you see just of all of them is our ability to run. And something we started to talk about this year, and we saw a lot early on, I think, which was probably part of the reason we had a little bit more success from an offensive standpoint, was just our ability to run the bases and run aggressively. Our guys did it well this year, especially some of our younger guys like Alex, who have the speed to do so and go first to third on a baby ball to center or a tough ball hit the left even, and really taking advantage of balls in the dirt and playing aggressive baseball on the bases and not being careless, not stealing that much necessarily, but taking the extra bag when that bag's available.
And Alex, has this team sort of embraced that almost small ball mentality of grinding out those hits and runs?
Yeah, I think we know that we're not going to hit a bunch of home runs, so staying within ourselves and playing our game is really important, and base running is a huge part of that.
Well, Joe, you were one of the few Cardinals that were knocking them out of the park there. You make first team All CCIW, and a couple other Cardinals join you for the second team. What's that honor like for a third straight year?
Third straight year, I mean, it's a privilege. I mean, you're really humbled by the opportunity to just get playing time in and then have an opportunity to help the team win, and then at the end of the year receive accolades like these. It's really nice to see some recognition.
And then talk about your other players that made the second team. You have, Chris Singh making it as a pitcher, Ben Krusen and Steve Flavick, another fellow senior. What have they meant to the team this year? Yeah,
Singh's done really well. He turned into our #1 starter this year. He was pretty much lights out for us. He always kept us in games. Krusen, he's going to be pretty good. He's a freshman, utility guy, hitter and pitcher, so he got a lot of experience in as a youth. And then, of course, the other old man with me, Steve. He's Steve Lavick. Can't say too much about him.
And he returned to this team this year, for his basically 5th year, but he still had that year of eligibility. What did that mean to the team when he said, he wanted to lace up those cleats again and get at?
It was a lot. It was awesome. He was very, very fired up, as much as we all were, to come back and be a part of it. So it was awesome to have him around again.
Coach, what's it like when you have the senior leaders like Joe and Steve to help this young baseball team sort of progress?
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, that's what you need, and that's really all about. Especially guys like Joe and Steve, coming in the off season and showing kids what it means to get working and get working on your own and get into the weight room, get into the batting cage, take swings, really embrace the fact of playing baseball outside of the 2.5-hour practice, let's say, and really understanding that team concept and growing as a team. I mean, it starts from the top down, with the guys who have been around, and Joe and Steve, and Tyler, Andrew, all the rest of them. I mean, they did a great job.
And Alex, now you're a sophomore, but you're really going to be one of the veterans on this team next year. How are you guys going to help the incoming freshmen and some of the freshmen this year progress the way Joe and Steve did in years past?
I think just being around, building a close relationship with them, that'll always help, and just leading by example is big. So doing what we got to do on the field, I think that's a big part of it.
And Joe, if you had to leave one piece of advice to the team that's still on the field, what would you tell these guys for next year?
Just use the experience from this year. I mean, a lot of guys, a lot of new college baseball, not used to it, and then just lead by example. I know this one right here, he's #1 example of it. Just go hard all the time, and then that should be good enough for it.
Joe keeps mentioning the college pitching. Alex, how different is it from high school to baseball with the skill of the pitcher that you see?
It's a lot better in college. It obviously takes a big adjustment, and that's what baseball's all about, is making adjustments.
Coach, has there been any major adjustments that this team will be making next season? Are we going to see any major lineup changes or guys switching positions?
Probably not too much. I mean, I think we got a lot of guys, itching to play, and whatever we got to do, to get our best 9 on the field, we're going to do. Now, every year we're going to approach every year the same way, where everyone's going to have to show up and earn their spot. Alex Khoury, has been playing shortstop for us for 2 years, and he's going to have to earn his spot next year. And as collectively as a unit, if we understand that as a whole, that's going to make him a better shortstop. And that's the way Joe did it for 4 years here as well. The more we can try and build that competition and get an understanding amongst the entire team that every job is open and it's your job to win and to earn. So getting after it in the weight room, getting after it in the batting cages, getting extra ground balls, doing all that kind of stuff is what's going to make us a better ball club. And guys like Alex are going to show that to the younger guys and prove it to not only him but us coaching staff and the rest of us that's our shortstop.
Alex, what does that do to a player, knowing that you may have started for 2 years, but everything's up for grabs. Does that, sort of light a fire under you?
Yeah, definitely. It just keeps you working hard, and it keeps you motivated, and you have to want it. You have to want to earn your spot, and if you do that, you'll most likely be successful.
And Joe, you sort of had to deal with that in some of your years here. You'd be designated hitter for some games, first base for some games. They have you listed as a catcher, but I don't think I've seen you behind the plate
Yeah, that's long gone.
You're not catching any pitches anymore?
No.
What's that like when you have to, switch between designated hitter, first base? Does it mess with your mentality?
I mean, not really. Me and Hennessy always talk about it. If one of us are first, one of us are DH, we're going to be in there at some point. Either way, it's going to happen, and just go at it hard, and it'll work.
Well, thank you guys for your time, and congratulations on a great season.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Coming up next, we have Clark Tusher stopping by to keep the Cardinal Report up to date on all things North Central athletics. Don't go away.